the last thing that I wrote down from what you said was the FBI partisanship, how they're targeting, young milk maidens who are selling raw milk, and mostly just like people who are to the right of Joe Biden. I don't think that that's true whatsoever. I mean, there are watch lists right now for, yes, a lot of right-wing like militia groups like that, but they also have watch lists on left-leaning people. And if the FBI is only partisan towards, going after Republican or non-establishment Republican politicians, then why, 2-3 months ago, was there a FBI probe into a Democratic senator that's overwhelmingly likely going to end up in a conviction because that guy, the guy that was getting bribes from Egypt, I think. So that guy. But I think that the problem with the idea that the FBI is purely partisan and working for the Dems doesn't play out in reality, right?
In the chat, that's not the right thing.
Oh, linking me something in Discord?
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, let me see here. I'm gonna have to cover up the camera for a second. DOJ charges 11 pro-life activists for blocking abortion clinic. Let's see here. Let's see what this says. Department of Justice Wednesday charged 11 pro-life protesters with violating federal law against blocking abortion clinics. Some of the demonstrators were charged with conspiracy against rights secured by the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances FACE Act, which prohibits obstructing the entrance to an abortion facility, while the other 4 were charged with violating the legislation according to a summary of the indictment. Okay, so we have do you think that this was targeted, or do you think that they broke a specific law that all the other abortion protesters aren't breaking?
Considering that there is video that they were not blocking people, and considering that all of the witnesses and their lawyers say that they were not blocking access to the clinic, pretty sure it was targeted.
Well, okay. Well, let me go down here. I mean, I would expect the legal team for these people to say that they weren't blocking the clinic, so I'm not going to take their word for it, right? A live stream of the stand-in shows activists chanting and singing prayer up the stairs to and along the hallway outside of the abortion clinic located in an office complex. Police officers eventually appeared in the video, urging them to take their protest outside to the sidewalk. "This is not allowed, guys. Asking you to leave the property or I will call the police," a security guard can be heard saying. Okay, so they were trespassing, and the police asked them to okay, if you're going to protest, then there's an acceptable place for this, right? But this right here is illegal.
Do you think that misdemeanor trespassing rises to the level of getting the FBI involved in a reasonable society?
Well, let me see. Let's read the rest of the article here. Blah, blah. The indictment claims he and other coordinators recruited participants to travel to the city and erect a blockade, which Gallagher allegedly called a rescue at the health center clinic to prevent pregnant women from pursuing abortions. These 11 individuals, the DOJ said on Wednesday, aided and abetted by one another, used force and physical obstruction to injure, intimidate, and interfere with employees of the clinic and a patient who was seeking reproductive health services.
And what did you just read earlier about the live stream?
Chanting, singing prayer up the stairs to and along the hallway outside the abortion clinic located in an office complex. Police officers eventually appeared in the video, urging them to take their protest outside to the sidewalk. The indictment...
Unless chanting and singing and standing in a hallway is physical obstruction, doesn't sound like there's much of a case there.
Well, I guess I would have to see it. Well, it has a hyperlink to the live stream. Let's see. I'm not authorized here. You need to log in to see the resource. I don't know what this website is, so I am not going to log into anything.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I've never seen the live stream. I heard reporting on the story. I've never seen the live stream myself.
I mean, I could have a different opinion on it depending on what the live stream shows, but it the paragraph right below where it talks about the live stream, After they refused to leave the premises, the activists reportedly escorted. Hold on. The indictment alleges that the group prevented a patient and an employee from entering the facility. So they have at least some evidence that they think that they can get a conviction on, because they've put it into the indictment, and they probably have video evidence from the live stream. They're not going to charge someone with something that they can't get a conviction on, because it would be a waste of their time.
Oh, that's not true at all.
That is absolutely true. One of the biggest reasons why people who are like super, super guilty and very obviously guilty don't get the highest charges, because it's going to be really hard to prove the level for the highest charge possible. So they have to drop the charges down some. So they're only going to charge someone with something that they think that they can get a conviction on.
I agree that what you're saying is true up until the last sentence, but the exact opposite happens too. Government prosecutes people for purpose of intimidation and coercion of behavior all the time. Government makes an example of people all the time.
I'm not even going to disagree with that. Yeah, the government is going to make an example of people that are doing something that the government doesn't want, right? Like we can look at the Ticketmaster monopoly, trust antitrust law thing that's going on right now. Like they're going to make a huge example out of Ticketmaster, because they're up everyone's ability to go to see shows. But I don't think that they would bring those charges if they didn't think that they could get a conviction. I think that that's like the biggest thing in the way here. I don't know of any case like recently that I can think of, any major case where there's been someone indicted on something. Now, like if it were like civil litigation, that would be a different matter. People bring frivolous lawsuits in civil cases all the time, because you don't need to get a conviction on something with a jury of 12 people, right? But when it comes to like criminal cases, they're going to charge you with the strongest thing they think that they can actually get you for. And they're going to have to convince 12 people that, and I mean, like, this is in Tennessee. It's not exactly the most left-wing state in the country, right?
Yeah, it's kind of purple.
Tennessee? When was the last time Tennessee voted blue?
I'm not saying that the state votes blue. I'm saying there are places in the state that run blue. You ever heard of Memphis?
I mean, listen, there are a lot of states I know a lot about. I know next to nothing about Tennessee. Not gonna lie. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take your word for it. And like, it doesn't go against anything that I would assume. Like a big city is probably going to be more liberal than like a rural county or something like that. But yeah, I mean, just like the idea that this is like targeted when we can see exactly what the inciting incident was. Like if they did this thing and like nothing happened for a long time and they decided to go after them to make an example, that'd be one thing. But this doesn't seem to like point to what you're talking about. I know that you sent me a second link here. I haven't looked at that one yet. But like, what do you, when I brought up the Democratic senator, like strong Democratic senator, I think from New Jersey, he's been a Democrat for a very long time, and he got investigated and raided by the FBI, and he's indicted, and he's probably going to get kicked out of the Senate, even by the Democrats. Like, does that not speak to the fact that they do investigate people across the political aisle?
A single person getting nuked is not proof of absence of a pattern. A exception to a rule is not proof the rule does not exist.
Sure, but like, so like that's one way to look at it, and you're not wrong. It could be the fact that this is just like, okay, well, this guy f***ed up so bad we can't let him get away with it, but like we're gonna let the small
this guy pissed off someone inside the party.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like it could be something like that, but like it could just as easily be the fact that like the things that the FBI needs to focus on right now the most are people that are right wing.
Do you think the biggest threat to the country is white nationalism or white supremacy?
No, I think that's downstream of what the biggest threat to the country is.
What do you think the biggest threat to the country is?
I think the biggest threat to the country is kind of like calling back to earlier in the conversation, the reason why we're so like massively in different worlds in terms of truth. I think the biggest threat to our country is probably the internet and the ability for not only people within our own nation, but for foreign actors to spread misinformation maliciously. I think that's like probably, yeah, like internally, domestically, like that's probably our biggest problem that we have.
Really quick, I want to pose you a question from chat because
Sure.
From Wolf. Wait, did he just say the FBI needs to be spending their time on the right wing?
That's not what I said, actually. What I said was, you said that is it not possible that they just like had to make an example of this guy or he pissed someone off? I said, yeah, sure. But is it not also equally possible, like if we're just like doing speculation like that without any evidence that the FBI needs to focus on the right wing? Like that argument can go both ways if we're just going to speculate and not take into account anything else, right?
There you go, Wolf.
Well, welcome. For people that are new, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching on Kick, I'm Sondsol. I am a political science student. I like to talk about politics. I like to argue about politics. We talk about all sorts of fun things on here like drama and politics. And I like to argue with people in chat about a lot of different things. Like, comment, and subscribe. I don't like to shill also.